What's up guys, an RC truck tutorial for you here. How to cut out your truck or car body. It's pretty simple, but don't try to use a standard set of scissors. These are too long and they just won't work. You need some Lexan scissors with a curved edge blade like this, and you'll also need a set that are straight, just like this. You'll also need a Sharpie marker for making your post holes on the top of your body, front and back. And you'll need a body ream tool. And these are pretty sharp, so be careful with these. You can really stick yourself with them. We'll ream out those holes to the posts. First thing you're going to do is use your X-Acto blade to score along the cut line around the edge of your truck body or car frame. You'll see a little line there. And after we've done that, we've scored everything, we can go ahead and start with step 2, and that's going to be your Lexan scissors. And right here I'm using the straight edge blade. I'm just going to cut along the straight line until I get to the start of the curve, and then I'm going to stop. Now grab your curved scissors and go ahead and start working on that wheel well curve. It makes this a lot easier than trying to cut a curve with a straight pair. Now once you get back to the straight part, stop so you don't have any sort of random stuff going on there with the curve. Now we're going to go along this straight edge right here. Just going to go straight ahead, across, straight ahead, and I'm going to take my time. I'm going to speed it up a little bit for you guys, and there's the first wheel well. It's not perfect, but we can come back with a Dremel tool and kind of sand and clean up and round out those corners a little bit more, make it pretty. Now we're going to go ahead and bend over the straight part, and this is just going to allow me to cut a little bit easier along that seam. So I'm going to come across here, and if you don't get it perfect the first time when you're cutting off this large flap, you can always come back a second time and just kind of clean things up. And that's totally up to you how precise you want to be with these types of cuts. I'm pretty picky about most of my stuff, so I wanted to come back and make sure that I have a nice straight line. Even if it is just a tiny bit higher, it won't matter. That looks pretty good. I'm going to come around the edge of this wheel well here and clean this up a little bit. Make a nice curve around there. I don't want any super hard lines or hard edges. It looks pretty nice through there. Now this side is an example I wanted to show you guys, me trying to use longer scissors. And if you use longer scissors, this is what's going to happen. You're not going to be able to make those curves. So you need these Lexan scissors to be able to make those curves. And the shorter blades on these scissors really help out a lot. If you're a new guy just getting into cutting out your truck bodies and car bodies, this is what everybody uses. So now I can get back in there. I can make that curve. I'm going to clean up this wheel well. Quite nice. And again, I'll probably come back with the Dremel tool and just kind of smooth everything out right through there with a rounded bit Dremel, little sander. Now this final cut right through here. And that's looking pretty good. Way better than what we had going before with the wrong pair of scissors. So now along this straight line here, I'm going to start coming in around this wheel well, and I'm going to work my way up until I get to the straight point, and then I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to bend that backwards again. We're just going to flex that trim line back. This just makes it easier to cut your straight line. And my great-grandfather was known in town as one of those guys who could draw a straight line, and I'm not quite like him. But it's going to require a little bit of extra cleanup before I paint it. And now a little more trim work around the front. If you see some little kind of splinters hanging off here and there, you will see them for when it happens when you stop the scissors and you start the scissors again. We get these little splinters, you can go back and trim those off. Get the rest of my plastic cover off, just a dust cover for this particular body. And now that's looking pretty good. We need to seat the body front and back, side to side, and we need to make sure that the wheel wells line up with the wheels and in the rear where the bumper comes around. Super important to make sure everything is exactly straight. You get one shot here with the reamer, so make sure it's perfect in your eyes. and that your bumper's nice and straight up front as well. So now everything looks good there. I'm going to be really cautious making these 2 Sharpie dots there, and now in the very back, I'm going to mark those. That looks pretty good. So now I'm ready to take my reamer, and I'm going to go ahead and start out my post holes in the front first. And you can put quite a bit of pressure on these. Try not to push too hard to crease the body of your car or truck. It's pretty important. But they are quite tough, so you can put a good amount of pressure on them. And again, don't overdo it. It's better to go small first and then work your way larger. And if they fit a little bit tight, but not too tight, that's about perfect. You don't really want them just falling off kind of loose. That left one still needs a little bit of work there. So I'm going to take some more out on that one. And it really does take quite a bit of force to just even get a little bit worked out. And that one's looking pretty good there. But still, the one on the left is still a little bit tight. Not quite making it through. So I'm going to give it some more room there. And again, just like with the cutting process, just take your time for the reaming process, okay? That looks good. Make your holes nice and tight. There we go. That looks good. No jokes, guys. Now we're gonna work on the rear. You can just blow off the extra there, and it looks like I have the first 3 done. So now for my final one, I'm gonna go ahead and take my ream tool and mark exactly where the center of that post is before I start this one. And you can do that with the other ones as well. Just push down a little bit, and then I'm gonna take the body off the frame, put it back on the bench, and start that final ream for the post hole. It's looking pretty good there. Now front and back. You have now successfully trimmed out your truck body or car body, hopefully at this point, and not quite as hard as you thought it was. Now you're ready to test out and see if your clips fit and how well they fit up against the frame. And again, you can come back with a Dremel tool if you want and clean up more. Now we're gonna go ahead and put those body clips on there. It's looking pretty good though. Now I have to decide whether I'm gonna cut out these windows or I'm gonna put stickers over them. That is looking awesome. So I think I might paint this one red, guys. This is looking awesome. So I'm ready to go. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm Justin Davis. Please do subscribe for more reviews and tutorials.